She's still got pretty bad taste in animals, though. She can ride a horse better than you, though. I should not just throw insults back. I shouldn't. Should not stoop to that level. Welcome back to the Moon. Last time we played, we apparently had a bunny get run over. I forgot that because here we are. Anyways, let's get going. So we can't do anything with the rabbit. Oh. Don't do that to me, please. That doesn't feel like you should be able to hit me. Or get that close. What's this music? Whoa! Don't do it. Don't do what? Yeah, exactly. Don't do what? You know what? Do I? Don't not ride this horse? Oh no, too many double negatives. What are you, 5 years old? Like, let me come up with a sentence. So you're kind of giving me permission to do it? I feel like that's what's happening. Okay, I won't not write it. Yep, that's what's happening. Yeah. Quit wasting time, Neil. Oh crap. Oh no. That can't be good. Ah, do something. Don't just stand there, help me. At a certain point, this feels like a consequence of your own actions, doesn't it? Damn it, this is not in the job description. Receive note. Dr. Neil Watts. So... Oh, he's not in our party anymore, even. We have the dead rabbit. Oh, a roadkill on their wedding day. Ania's the lighthouse. What is the Dr. Neil Watts description? Village idiot. Okay. So, one off to the right, right? No, left, right. The horse turned invisible too. Like, as soon as he touched the horse became like a part of him. Oh, I see the feet. Oh, wrong feet. River, I'm assuming. I can't click on River, and I think this is Johnny. Okay, so I can't interact with them. Or this horse. So then, where's our friend? At this point, I don't know if we would consider them our friend. Well, not off to the right. Oh, this is a big area. Where did you go off to? Oh, look, a pretty flower. The more that we go into the past too, the more I'm realizing that Johnny has so much history with River. Like, a lot. It's not just like they were married. I get the feeling that like they've known each other for a long time. Granted, I don't actually know that at this point, but that's kind of the feeling that I'm getting. Holy cow! What are we doing? The truck scared me again. Every time. I guess it's nice to know that we can't die in the memories. Where did Neil go? Well, I can't do anything with a horse. Or these guys, so... What does this say? Nothing. What the fuck? If Neil was like really that lost, he could have just restarted the memory. The like one thing that he's been talking about for forever. Not forever, but like it's kind of the threat that he has where it's like, oh, just restart this memory, but he hasn't. Which implies that he can't be that lost. Oh. Is that really a good idea? She should be okay. She's not new to this anymore. But she's never done it by herself before. I'll be fine. I'm not a child. Ah! River! Aww. What's the matter? Let's go. Hey, wait up. That's cool. Huh, I wonder if Neil got off that horse yet. Well, I didn't find him, and I looked everywhere. Yeah! Nope. Nope. This is about 19% more than I can handle. What a moron. Oh, I can get on the horse. Better go save his bum. Oh, we're a lot faster. Space to gallop. Oh, they are galloping. Oh. So I have to get Neil? Oh, who are you? You're a different person. Come back for you. Where is everybody else? Oh, come back, Neil. Ah, thanks. Ow. Hey, I found something here. Poor bunny. I like this music. It's very catchy. What did you find? Oh, that's the memento. So but I have to collect more things for it though. That kind of makes me feel like I have to... I got one when I was chasing after them on the horse and like caught up to them, I guess. That makes me feel like I have to do that more. Not into the tree. Oh, there she is. There they are. So do I have to get another memento thing from them? No. I don't. Okay. Well, I don't know how to get off the horse. Very much like Neil didn't know how to get off the horse. Can I just talk to you? Wasn't there a magnifying glass? Oh, it's just here. Here, this memento will do. I'll have to line it up carefully with that horse, though. Don't look at me, I'm not getting on that beast again. Let's never speak of what just happened again. Okay, so I need more of those things. I don't know where they would be, though. Please don't tell me I have to, like, click on River. I'm clicking! Yeah, I can't see them this time. Weird. Because usually it has, like, all the colors and stuff. And even, like, up top I can... Oh! There we go. Okay. So I can do that, but I can't see down here. Huh. Okay. I couldn't find the other piece, so I reloaded. And I followed River on her horse for long enough, and she finally gave me all the pieces that I was looking for. It still doesn't show the thing at the bottom. It showed it when I was collecting them, but not now. Let's prepare the memento. Ooh. Ooh, I got it in 4. Oh, no, I don't want it to talk to you. Yeah. Is it like her purse? Ooh. This seems sad. Is the diagnosis certain? Is that the medical or mental health diagnosis? I guess physical or mental health. Yes, we've reached a consensus on the results. Unfortunately, like many cases of pervasive developmental disorders, this is a rather late diagnosis. Had you known when you were a child, miss, it could have saved you a lot of trouble. That sounds like... I mean, like, if we don't get diagnosed when we're younger, though, that's not our fault. I can see how this could be coming off that way, or just, like, also not at the same time. I think it would depend on the tone of voice. Do you have any books on it? That's fair. Like, let me educate myself on it. This is one by Tony Atwood. He's one of the specialists on the subject. So many of the books in this game have been real. Is this real too? Now I need to know Tony. Holy shit, he is. British psychologist notable for his work on Asperger's syndrome. His books include Asperger's Syndrome, a guide for parents and professionals, which has been translated into over 25 languages. Woo! And provides information on diagnosis, problems of social relations, sensory issues, motor control, and other typical issues which face people with Asperger's and their support networks. His other books include The Complete Guide to Asperger's Syndrome, Exploring Feelings for Young Children with High Functioning Autism or Asperger's Disorder, From Like to Love for Young People with Asperger's Syndrome, Autism Spectrum Disorder, Learning How to Express and Enjoy Affection with Family and Friends, Exploring... I said eating at first. It's not eating depression. It's exploring depression. And Beating the Blues. Been there, done that, try this. Ask Dr. Tony. Having Fun with Feelings. I imagine that's for kids. Having Fun with Feelings on the Autism Spectrum. 10 Steps to Reducing Your Child's Anxiety on the Autism Spectrum. So that basically at this point confirms what I had said before about suspecting that that's like what the game was talking about and hinting at with this character. I guess like a for the record type thing. I had just read about how this doctor's research was about Asperger syndrome, and technically Asperger syndrome isn't a thing anymore. So like, this is one of those disclaimers about keep in mind how some of the things that I may talk about this may be different than how other professionals talk about it. Autism is not something that I am specialized in, and I want to own all of that. But when a mental health professional diagnoses... English is also apparently not something I'm great at today. So when a mental health professional is diagnosing someone with like with an official diagnosis, we basically have to refer to a book that is called the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, or the DSM. It is a mouthful. I never expect anybody to remember that stuff. But we have to go by what that book says, and what that means is it helps us all be on the same page. So when I say that someone is struggling with autism, everybody around me knows what I'm talking about because we all are referring to the same thing. We're all referring to the same book. That's one of the huge reasons behind that. So, and they update it. I was going to say every year, but it's not every year. They update that periodically, every so often, to try to keep that book up to date with the most current research, essentially. We are currently on version 5 of the DSM. So when they made the change about 10 years ago, it's not exactly 10 years ago, but about 10 years-ish ago, when they made the change from version 4 of the DSM to version 5 of the DSM, they changed how we technically talk about autism. So in version 4 of the DSM, they used to have autism as its own diagnosis, technically, and Asperger's. I just had that Wikipedia page up. Asperger's with an apostrophe S. Asperger's as its own diagnosis. And when they changed from the DSM-4 to the DSM-5, they basically said, these aren't separate things. We're going to put them all into one thing. So what used to be known as Asperger's disorder, Asperger's syndrome, however we kind of want to talk about that, technically like doesn't exist according to that name. It's now part of the autism spectrum is how it's referred to now. So at the time that this game came out, it would have been called autism, at the time that this game came out, it would have been called Asperger's, or if we want to be even, I guess, more technical, at the time that this character would have been diagnosed, it would have been called Asperger's. And sometimes that is a very real experience that people have. At the time that they were diagnosed, it was called Asperger's. And so they will refer to it as an Asperger's like syndrome type thing. And I guess where I'm coming from when I talk about these technicalities is like, I don't expect people to remember this stuff. Like, this is very much the job of a therapist or a doctor to remember these technicalities. But I kind of say that as if you talk to a therapist and they say that like Asperger's doesn't exist, I mean, like, it has historically, and like, this is why someone may say that, is because of all of these like technical things that happen behind the scene with therapy. So as I'm talking about this and I'm saying this character struggles with autism, that's why I call it autism instead of Asperger's. And that's why I don't differentiate between the two, because as of right now, it's under this big umbrella of like this autism spectrum. And so instead of basically saying, well, is it more Asperger's or is it autism? We now look at it and say, like, where in the spectrum might someone fall? You can borrow it free of charge for now. Just don't elope with it. But that's an implication. Thanks, Doc. Now, are you two a couple? Let's see where this goes. Unmarried and without any other current legal affiliation. So, like, very technical with that. Yes, I see. Well, I could give you a referral to a specialized counselor if you wish. Like, for Johnny? I guess when I hear that, I'm like, okay, would the referral for counseling be for Johnny to, like, potentially cope with, like, I don't know, things in general? It can be hard to, like, hear this stuff with our partner. Or for River to cope with the same fucking thing, but it's like her and her life. Or couples counseling for the same fucking thing, but like with them as a couple. Is there anything unsettling in the relationship? I guess what I don't like about this is that there's this assumption that, like, now that we know that we're talking about autism, there's an assumption that like things must be bad. And sometimes that comes across as very ableist. And ableism, I think, is very much a thing that can come up when we're talking about autism. Which I think is sometimes a reason why I personally don't like that book description of, like, one of these books by this doctor was like high-functioning autism or Asperger's disorder. I don't like those terms where it's like high functioning. And I understand that sometimes that comes across in a variety of ways. Sometimes we talk about high functioning anxiety or high functioning depression. I understand like why sometimes we use those terms, because if it describes, I guess, what we're talking about, it's accurate communication. But the reason why I don't like those terms is because it implies that there's low functioning. And that can play into ableism, especially when we're talking about autism. And I'm not a fan of that. Because this right here, again, like, there's this implication that the relationship must have something wrong with it if we now know what as soon as we're talking about autism, it's like, oh, well, there must be something wrong with this relationship. That's what I wonder when is happening here, essentially. And I'm not a fan of that. No. And you, sir? So this, I don't feel like I know enough about this doctor and like where they're coming from when they say this, but I also feel like a lot of times when we talk about autism, there's this feeling of, I can't believe this person, and this is, you know, potentially an ableist thing, but this idea of like, I can't believe this person because they can't be trusted because of this diagnosis or because of this thing that they're struggling with. And this can come across with a lot of other things too, but when this doctor, I'm assuming gender here, but like when this doctor asks Johnny, like, oh, what are your thoughts on that? I don't quite know if that is giving space for both people to answer and both people to give their opinions, or if it is that idea that like, oh, well, River might not know what she's actually talking about because of mental health. And I'm not a fan of that latter option. No, it's fine. Nonetheless, sir, you should also give the book a read. Because I do think that, like, knowing some of these things can be extremely helpful. Just like having a word for what we've been experiencing, like knowing the diagnosis, even if we don't do anything with it, even if we're not really going to therapy or getting some kind of medication. I mean, this is a general statement, not for autism, can be extremely helpful. Just this, like, that by itself can feel validating. This idea that, like, yes, there is a word for this experience. And the same can be true for our partners, too. This idea that, like, our partners can have a word for what we're experiencing. It'll help you understand her condition. I'd rather not. Why is that? Yeah. Is it... I guess my suspicion with that is this idea of, like, I don't need to have a label for that. It's just River being River. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean almost like I accept these things. Well, it's your call. In the meantime, there's a thing called equine therapy that might help her. Oh, that's what it was. That's what the horse thing was. It was equine therapy. I've also realized, too, that, like, earlier on, in some of the later memories, time becomes weird when you do this stuff. River had said a thing like, a white lie, that's what you call it. So this idea of, like, learning social rules as rules instead of it being something intuitive. A ranch just north of here offers it. I can contact them for you. I guess, going back just a second, with this idea of, like, the social rules, her learning them as rules instead of it being as intuitive, Johnny doesn't shame, blame, or guilt her for it. It is not a bad thing in his mind, which I absolutely adore about this character. It's not the same type of ableism that comes to my mind that we often experience with this type of stuff. He almost gets more upset about, what was it, Isabel calling him neurotypical, where it's like, I hate when you call me that. Right? He doesn't have the same kind of reaction that the doctor has about this. The doctor has slightly more of that whole, like, oh, well, because of this, right? That type of reaction. The doctor has more of that, but not Johnny. Johnny's kind of like, oh, well, that's fine. You know, like, what do you, like, he talks about her or to her like a person. And I appreciate that so much. Told you so. Can we go in here? Oh, the bag. A plain tawny handbag. That's what we just had for the memento. Oh, there's something on the desk. A note. Tony Allen. I guess I didn't have to look it up, but it's too late. I already did. Yeah, an author of a series of books on River's condition. They keep calling it River's condition. I wonder if that's supposed to be like a reveal. It's too late. I already kind of figured it out. Or they could just be keeping it anonymous. Why do you have a cot in your room? Office. Anyways, I wonder if they're supposed to be, if they're trying to just like keep it this thing and there won't be a reveal. Which in its own way is interesting, different. Oh, just walking here. Has its own thing. Oh, the clocks. Yeah, because in the very beginning of the game, it said, what does it say? We had a note on it. Clock. The clocks in Johnny's house never tick. I wonder if they're broken or if there's something behind that. Because the ticks here are very noticeable. Excuse me, could you please silence the clock? Well, speaking of which... The ticking really bothers her. So, like, a sensory overload type of thing? It's not that severe, I'll be okay. No problem, it's standard policy. If there's anything at all that makes you uncomfortable, just let me know. So that's why the clocks didn't tick in Johnny's house. Well, and sometimes when we have that kind of sensory overload, and that can be any sense too, it's not just sound, we can be dismissed. And I think oftentimes the way I hear people talk about it is that most of the dismissal comes from friends or family, like people closest to us, especially if they have never experienced some kind of sensorial overload. It's a lot of this idea of like, oh, just get over it, or that kind of thing, where it's like, just pretend it doesn't exist, or just do this, or just do that. And Johnny didn't do that. He was like, oh, this is a bit overwhelming for you? I'll take care of that. Like, he was her advocate and didn't shame, blame, or guilt her again for the fact that the clocks were too loud, because if anything, River was far more likely to silence herself than he was. Thank you. I guess that explains the ones in the house, yeah. Receive note clock ticking. I keep trying to scroll here, and scrolling doesn't work. Something River can't stand. But like, there's a reason for it, kind of a thing. Just a bit longer. They'll be calling for you soon. So this is before they went into the actual room. Oh, I thought I was clicking on River. I'm not. So we just need one more. Oh. Oh, the clock is the actual thing. Okay, well, let's get down from here. What else can we click on? Oh, there's someone else here. Hi. Just lurking. I'm surprised if this isn't an office like that specializes in this, so to speak. I'm surprised they have any kind of ticking clocks. Granted, it's hard to predict like what can cause overload for someone with that, but I would imagine that would be a fairly common one. And if that's their, if they specialize in it enough that they are willing to adapt, and like that's so much so that that's like their policy, I'm just surprised that they just have it at all, I guess. Okay, so what is my other thing I'm looking for? Just need one more. Oh, that's a wall. Oh, what about this? Can I read this? No. Can I leave? No. Oh. Okay. Oh, the platypus. Stuffed toy platypus. I can't believe this piece of atrocity is dated all the way back here. Well, but... Okay, so I initially thought that the platypus had something to do with a kid that was lost, but like they're pretty young here. That doesn't sound like that's the case. If the platypus is like a comfort animal for River, that makes perfect sense to me. And like, why can't we don't have to call it an atrocity. She's allowed. Anybody is allowed to have a comfort animal. There's nothing wrong with that. Society may disagree with me on that, but society disagrees with me on a lot of things. And like, just because society disagrees with us on something does not make society correct inherently. Like, if a comfort animal inherently brings you comfort, why is that so bad? Looks like someone took good care of it. Well, I mean, we do that for things we care about. She's still got pretty bad taste in animals, though. She can ride a horse better than you, though. I should not just throw insults back. I shouldn't. Should not stoop to that level. There we go. That's the last one that we needed. So then at that point, when Johnny kept the platypus, it was representative of River. The music was at the piano was representative of River. The like repetition with making the so like River saw the rabbit like get run over by a car, and then like coped and really kind of got fixated for a bit on like making the origami rabbits, and had a hard time communicating all of that. And even though that seemed strange to Johnny, he did not shame, blame, and guilt her for it. He just wanted to understand her. So even the rabbits, even though they are hard to look at and it's a difficult memory, they still represented River, this person that he dearly cared for. Regardless of how strange she may have seemed to other people, it was still River to him. It's incredibly sad. 4 moves. You're funny. What's that? Oh shit! I did it again! In the minimum! Hot damn. I keep thinking it's not gonna happen, then it happens. Where are we now? How old are we? How old are we? Oh, we're getting younger and younger. Psst, look. I know. I can't believe he once paid to see this crap in theater. I started off liking this character. As time goes on, I'm not a fan. No, you idiot. Look, we leaped. Why is there dramatic music? Yeah, so this is like kid or like teenager phase? Holy overcooked macaroni! The kid's in the theater all by himself. What a loser. Wow. I don't have, yeah, you can take my facial expressions as my thoughts on that. You go to theater by yourself all the time. That's different. No one's competent enough to match my taste. Is that different, really? Or is that a defense mechanism? But that aside, how could anyone last through this rubbish? Wow. Everybody's allowed to have their own taste, just like they're allowed to have their own comfort animals. They can have their own comfort movies and comfort TV shows. Who cares? Besides, maybe he's waiting for River. And thus, you don't hear this very often, this movie sucks on both physical and metaphysical levels. QED. Wow, you also don't hear QED said out loud very often. I think I've only really seen it in writing. I mean, like, besides maybe Pirates of the Caribbean. Anyways. Come on, let's go. What? Oh, right. I mean, like, do you want to stay and watch the show that you just complained about? Oh. My brain was like, kiddo, and then I remembered that technically Johnny's not a kiddo, but anyways. Poor buddy. Whoa, wait, I ain't talking to no emo teenager. I would love it if Watts would just, like, leave this simulation and just, like, chill out, I don't know, with the teenagers, where they could just banter with each other's sarcastic comments. Grammar, my dear Watson. Shut up, that's not even a full sentence. It's somehow politer than yours are. Let's just go for more mementos. Poor kid. I want to help. I can't. I want to. If anybody got stood up, who are you? I think if anybody got stood up at the theater, they'd be sad. Oh, you're nobody? Are we just checking people? What are you doing? That's the third person you've removed here. And nothing is permanent. What are we doing? Who are you? You're different. Oh. Huh. Are we looking for people who might have gone to meet him? You know, the poking them out of the way like that does nothing, right? Then why complain? Why would we do that? I guess if we're... Because, like, River would be in color, right? Like, we would know who River is. River wouldn't be the same, like, static. So why would we do this? Yeah, you walking person. You're next! Oh look, this place is all empty and creepy now. I hope you're happy. Oh. What was that? I don't like that. Getting stood up? Yep. Now that's a Kodak moment. Really? You relate well with your kin, I see. We can't say... Hey, I want to construct him a lady friend. Can we construct a lady friend for him, Ava? No. No! Aw. Why are the lights doing that? Hey, quit wasting time and leave him alone. Okay, so we don't want to talk to him. Why are the lights doing that? They can stop anytime now. Well, there's nothing here. Hate to say it, but I guess I have to nag something out of him again. All yours. At least there's no olives this time. Oh, poor kid. What are we doing? I knew it. Ah, I knew it. River. You were in there this whole time? I waited for you at the lobby. I thought you didn't come. Why did you leave? I thought we were watching the movie together. Oh, their definitions of watching the movie together were different. So she was like technically there to watch it together. His definition of watching the movie together was like, no, like sitting together. So he got his feelings hurt and she doesn't understand like why there was the miscommunication. Huh? I'm the one who should ask that. What do you mean? We were watching the movie together and then you left. Like different definitions of what it means to watch a movie together. These like the difference between like maybe being taught society's rules just openly, which is something that sometimes we just have to do. If we're struggling with something like autism, versus understanding these things intuitively, sometimes this stuff still has to be taught, like, because some of society's rules are just not intuitive. Like the amount that we have to just be flat out taught these things can be different. We weren't watching it together. I didn't even know where you were. Again, different definitions of together. If you saw me in there, why didn't you come and find me? What difference does it make? We were watching the same movie in the same room. This kind of confusion reminds me of, like when our partner has a different love language than us, to where we'll sit there and go, like, why do you need gifts? I did, you know, I said nice things to you, which would be like words of affirmation. Or I did the dishes for you, which would be like acts of service. So like, why do you need me to do that other thing? Like, I showed you love in a way that makes sense to me. And sometimes it gets to the point where we're like, it may not make sense to us, but we do it anyways because it's important to the other person. But they obviously figured it out, and they obviously didn't have hard feelings about it because, like, they spent the rest of their lives together. Like, he's not holding it against her. He thinks it's funny. What's wrong? Yeah, you're so weird. But he's not... He says that she's weird, but, like, it doesn't sound like that's him trying to shame, blame, and guilt her, although I think that would be an important thing to define. We may say weird in an enduring kind of way, but if the other person interprets that as a negative thing, especially if they've been bullied in the past, and that sounds similar to something that bullies have said to us, I think that would be an important thing to, again, clarify. So we may not think that we are shame, blame, or guilt. Shaming, blaming, or guilting our partner, but that doesn't mean that they will interpret it that way, and that's the important part. Do you not want to watch the movie together anymore? Of course I do. That's sweet. Come, let's head back in before it ends. They're an adorable couple. I love how they have portrayed this. English is just a struggle today. I feel like I should make a clever remark. Do not. Don't you dare. Don't. Shh. Let us agree that during these sweet moments, you will not do any of those things. You feel wrong. Whoa. Well, let's hope our ride's waiting for us in there. Okay, so we have all of our memory things. Now we just need to know where to put it. Oh, they're down here. Nope, down here. Excuse me, pardon me. Oh, the platypus again. Is that it? Yep. Her comfort item. In 5 moves. You are funny. Not bad. Not bad. You know, I think this platypus is growing on me. I was just gonna say, I don't trust you when you say that. Mostly just for convenience, but hey. They're such an adorable couple. Okay, so we're still in childhood, teenagerhood. Is this high school? Please don't be high school. High school can be awful. Come on, dude. Grow some balls. Wow. Okay, again. High school. Great, fantastic place. It's not that. Look, maybe this wasn't such a good idea. Oh, sheesh. Oh, this is Nicholas, our friend. This is our friend. Oh, sheesh. What could possibly happen? Just think about it. Worst case scenario, she says no. Oh, is this Nicholas's way of encouraging us to ask her out? Okay. You strut on like nothing happened. No one will know and everyone will still think you're cool. But what if she tells someone? Who cares? If you like her, ask her out. Who cares? Or yells at me. Oh, buddy. Don't be a little wuss. Or say yes, but really means no. I don't think that would happen. Just quit worrying. Who would do that? I feel like this is Johnny's anxiety showing up. It's like, here are all the negative possible things that could or could not happen. But what if she throws an encyclopedia in my face? Like, how likely is this to happen? But that doesn't stop our anxiety from making us focus on it. I don't even have a helmet. Dear Lord, I am so not prepared for this. Dude, don't panic. Just straighten your spine. Shit. How did you know I was slouching? And quit being a little wuss. The wuss comment. Yeah, you tell him. It's very like, bro. Everything will be all right. Just turn around. Okay. Okay. Hey. What are you? Shh. Is Nicholas like actually pushing him forward? And that's why he said that? Hello? Hello? Is she reading, what is it, Animorphs or whatever? Can you hear me? Yes. Then why didn't you... Never mind. That's a cool platypus you got there. It's a cool platypus. I'll be over here. What are you reading? She does not want this. A book. Very literal. Not untrue. About platypus? No. Oh, I think that's great. Are you trying not to laugh? What was that? Oh, sorry, what are you reading? Lighthouses. I didn't push the buttons. Huh? There are exactly 16 second order Fresnel lens lighthouses in the country left. There are orders of lighthouses? 9 of them are coastal, and 1 of them was modified from a historic kerosene lamp lighthouse. Are lighthouses secretly cool? Oh, is that what you're reading about? I feel like this conversation is getting very awkward. Say, you want to catch a movie together sometime? I don't know. That's okay. Back way slowly. That's okay. I'll give you time to consider it. I'll give you a way to back out without letting my worst fears come true. And have me know it. I can't. Why? There's no date or time. So, like, very literal with a lot of these things. Oh, how about this Saturday at 8? And, like, having a hard time with, like, flexibility. Because flexibility would be this idea of saying, like, yes, and we'll figure it out. Or what are your thoughts on a date? You know, those kinds of things where we commit first and then we figure out a date and time. That would be some amount of flexibility. Well, Ava, I think the system froze. No, it didn't. Yes. Oh, great. Never mind. I guess we'll work out the details later. That would be the amount of flexibility, right? But too, like, if this is at a point in her life where she doesn't know that this is what she's struggling with, this can impact, like, how we see ourselves. We can just feel like we're the different one, we're the weird one. We can have a hard time knowing that, like, we often have a tendency to just be very rigid about things, very literal about things. We can have a hard time knowing that, like, that may not be how other people interpret situations. So we may have a hard time communicating that to other people. And so we may have a hard time then saying, I'm sorry, but I take things literally, as almost like a disclaimer on conversations or relationships or things like that. And that, again, can be the value of sometimes knowing a diagnosis or just knowing ourselves, I guess. I'll just... Don't laugh. Don't laugh. We have all been those awkward kids. What? What are you looking at me for? You think I'm gonna call out how utterly awkward that was? Everybody has awkward moments. Every single one of us has had an awkward moment. That is something we can all relate to. You were stuck on a horse not too long ago. Well, just forget it. I'm not giving in to your expectations. Give him a break. He was still just a kid. You of all people should relate. Is that supposed to mean that you're still a kid? Shut up and go. Shut up is my name, you know. Like, you're kind of proving the point. You're kind of proving the implication that you are still a kid. Oh, jeez. This feels like a good place to stop the game for today, for now. Oh, man. So, we've learned more about these characters and gotten a definitive answer for, like, what River struggles with, but also the fact that it doesn't impact her romantic relationship. Because even before the diagnosis had a name, she had this successful relationship. And it didn't impact that. Because Johnny didn't care whatsoever. It was this idea, I keep getting this feeling of, like, River is River, and I'm okay with that. Like, if I'm accepting her and wanting to be in a relationship with her, I'm wanting to be in a relationship with all of her, and I'm okay with that. And so, yeah, he continued to, like, learn about her and, like, what this means because, you know, he understood what the term neurotypical was, but he didn't weaponize it. He didn't use it against her. It was more so he could, and it was all about too. It was all about her. It was all about River, because even when he was having the conversation with his friend, he would bring up things like, oh yeah, like this is something that like sometimes people with autism can do when it came to like the bunnies or the repetition or the schedules, that kind of stuff. But it was always all about the fact of like, I don't care about that though. What I care about is the fact that this is still unusual for her. It was still always about River. The game doesn't make this character like it's all about the romance with this, not romance, it's all about how this romance, I guess, but these two characters had a relationship that was really all about, you know, connecting in a way that didn't involve that shame, blame, and guilt. And I still love that. I love that so much. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on the game and the video, and I'll see you next time.